Okay, that was juicy.
It was. It was.
I don't know what I've been missing out this whole time. Why am I not watching soaps? They're so good.
They get you. They get you.
Get you, man.
You know what's interesting is if someone were to ask me what it was like or what storyline's coming up, I only remember a little bit. But the moment I watched the episode air, everything comes rushing back to me.
Really?
So I remember what was going on that day. So I want to talk about all that today. 2 very good episodes, and I think all the Wilson fans are going to be so pumped because even Will mentioned this. Sonny and Will are back to kind of where they were before Adrian's death.
So they're back together before you guys were separated.
Back together in the sense of, yes, back together, but back together where they left off.
And happy.
Because Sonny wanted to have another kid. And then the accident happened right after that. So now that they've brought up wanting to have a kid again, I want to get into all of that.
Aww.
And I'm curious what all of you think. You know, what's Ari going to feel having a sister or a brother? Are we going to move forward? How do we move forward?
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be a really interesting storyline if they decide to go this route because there are 2 men in love wanting to have another kid. Will already has a biological daughter. So is Sonny going to have a biological daughter? How are they going to go about that? Are they going to adopt? What are they going to do? So there's a lot. I'm curious. Comment below what you think's going to happen and just your thoughts on this in general. I know we have questions from the audience that I want to get to as well. So let's just hop right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome everyone to the Freddie and Alyssa Show. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Just boom. Just give it a boop.
Get a little tap.
Oh, now you're subscribed. Like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. We've been putting up videos for a couple years now. We're having a blast. We just celebrated our 100th episode of the Freddie and Alyssa Show. So we have many interviews, especially if you're a Days of Our Lives fan too. We've got a lot of interviews with some of your favorite cast members. I could list them all, but it would take like 30 minutes. We've interviewed so many people. And we're continuing to put out episodes every single week, so we appreciate you stopping by, and we kept some of the decorations up for the vibe.
Heck
I even got my party shirt on today.
I'm liking the party shirt,
Got the party shirt. You know, it's got that summer vibe to it, so I'm super pumped. Also, Alyssa and I are bookable on Cameo. It's an app where you can get a shout-out video from myself or from Alyssa or from both of us. You can go to cameo.com/FMSmith319. We got that link in the description. And we did a little something new on our 100th episode. And I want to give these people a shout out. So because we are now at 100 episodes of the Freddie and Alyssa Show, we are ready to take the show to the next level. To the biggest next level.
Big boy level.
Big boy level. Big boy, big gal level. We want to do this. So we opened the show to producers. And I want to give a shout out. Now there's been a lot of people who have came on as producers.
Yeah.
I don't want to name everyone at once because yet again, just like the guests, it'll take forever. So I'm going to take the first 5 and then every episode we'll give a shout out to 5 people. So don't think that we forgot about you. But the first 5 producers, Brittany Cratch, welcome to the team. Woo! Janet Guy, Melissa Lechnick, I hope I said your name right, Melissa, Cheryl Malberg, and Valerie Tabbitt.
Boom.
Is there any relation there to Valerie Tabbitt?
She just might be my mother.
Look at that. Look at that. So thank you to you 5 for joining the producing team. If you're interested in being a producer and want to learn about it, there's a video description in the link, or a video you can watch and the description as well. This way you can just check that out and see if it's a good fit for you. But what do you say we get on with the episode? I want to talk about our sponsor and then hop into this juicy week of Days of Our Lives.
Well, before we get into that juicy week, today's episode is sponsored by CBD for Life. And I just might happen to have a CBD infused bath bomb here. We just got some new goodies. I'm so excited to try this one out because I've used them before. They are thebomb.com. CBD infused. And so if you're having aches and pains, throw this right in that little bubble bath of yours. It's going to be CBD infused and you're going to feel so good when you get out. And we do have a code for you guys for 20% off if you use it at checkout, which is Freddie Alyssa 20.
At checkout.
At checkout for 20% off. And you can find all of their amazing products at cbdforlife.us.
So, Bath Bomb, there you go.
Boom,
Thank you, CBD for Life, for supporting us, and we appreciate you. So, we've got love making to talk about. We've got adoption or baby making to talk about. Where would you like to start?
Let's start with love making.
Love making.
Because it is a soap, and I feel like there's a lot of love making on soaps.
Yeah. We, well, you know, I got to tell you, I get this question a lot about the love scenes in general. Regardless of the character, regardless of the scenario, regardless of the situation, making love in front of 50 people with 4 high-definition cameras on you is just awkward. It's really hard to get into the moment, and also it's our job to make it look like a fantasy in the sense of like how everything goes well. You see this in movies.
Yeah.
You see people like coming home from a party, ripping each other's clothes off, holding each other up against the wall, throwing people on the bed, crawling up. It's for cinema. It's to be a fantasy. Most lovemaking in real life is very awkward. You can't get your clothes off. You're not thinking of your angles. Like if you were on camera during a real life lovemaking, it would probably be awkward as hell because you're not thinking.
Speak for yourself.
Some people can act for camera, I guess, in all facets of their life. But no, I'm just saying the angles. Like if you had a camera at the edge of the bed, you're going to get unflattering angles. It's going to be a nightmare. So on top of being in love, being in the moment and telling this story, you have to, you're a little like not nervous, but you're on camera, so your mouth is a little dry, which is awkward. You're making like this weird sound. You're trying to kiss. You don't want to sweat. You just brushed your teeth. You're also having to climb around and yet again make sure that it looks good more than feel good, because how it looks is what's important.
Of course.
Does it look sexy, and does it look like you're in love while your arms are shaking, while you're not thinking about your breath?
While we're sucking in.
While we're sucking in, there's a lot going on, and Will and Sonny had a lot more rated R type love scenes back in the day. I feel in the past 3 to 4 years, it's been very much kiss, fall back on the bed. So that, in the sense of the lackluster of people who want to see the more action, is missing out on that. When it comes to the actors, it's a much easier shooting day to kiss and fall back. It wasn't our decision. That's just how it's done. Yeah. And then they pan up to that picture. But it makes it less nerve-wracking because you're like, okay, this is much easier to fall back rather than having to climb through the bed and have to do all these gymnastics, roll over. But then you can't roll over too much because then if your shorts show or your jeans show, you have to cut, you have to redo it.
So you guys wear jeans underneath?
In like this episode, we just took off our shirts, and then I put on like a t-shirt. But
so why don't you guys just have like bless you.
Thank you.
Why don't you guys wear like basketball shorts?
Because we don't want to have to change our jeans.
Oh, because you were wearing the jeans prior.
Yeah, so it's
all
much
day
quicker.
It was your wardrobe.
We just fall back into the bed, they yell cut, and then we just take off our shirts. I put on a t-shirt, wardrobe runs in, we hop in bed.
So let me rewind real quick. Before you guys do the love scenes, like, do you guys shoot in chronological order of the script?
Not always, no.
Not always. But in this particular instance, you guys had a couple scenes before you did the love scene stuff. Did you shoot that right before?
I don't remember that, but I do remember watching whatever episode it was where I was at the Brady pub, the gravesite, and the Kiriakis mansion. Was probably a long day because that's 3 different sets. But if we shot earlier, there was a break, especially for love scenes. Anytime you see a love scene or you see a fight scene or a group scene, those take longer than a traditional, we're at the Brady pub talking. 2 people, you could shoot pages and pages so quick. There's no movement, so there's no messing up.
Got it.
And if you happen to drop a line, what was I going to say? Stop right there. No one move. Freddie, this is your line. Okay. 3, 2, 1. And I think we should have a baby. But if I'm moving and there's group scenes, well, then this person isn't in the background, so we have to redo it. Or the love scene, oh, now you're sweating, your hair is messy, we have to start from the beginning. So anytime there's a love scene, they will usually, because you have to change, do hair and makeup. Some actors have tattoos. So if they're going to be shirtless, they have to come in early, or they have to go and get their tattoos covered up. Makeup has to change, hair has to change. You have to be sweaty or not sweaty, or if someone got shot that week, they have to have a scar. But
Can I ask you really quick, too? I remember way back in the day there was a shower scene.
Yeah.
Does that take a lot longer because you're dealing with...
That was insane. They built a shower, and there's a guy, like, pumping the water through the thing off the...
Really?
Yeah, it was like some sort of pump.
So he's sitting there while you guys are doing...
Yeah, I don't know why I did some old-fashioned, like, chimney cleaner. It wasn't that, but it was some sort of device that there was only so much water, but you always had to get the scenes.
Interesting.
Back to the whole thing is that they will give us a break in between. If you're going to do a love scene, you're not going to rush right over to another scene because you have to get dressed, fix your hair, so they'll put scenes in between. So I don't know the actual order that we shot that day. But I do know in that particular case that we just took our shirts off. I put on a shirt, and Chandler showed off his abs. I was lacking abs, so having a shirt works. Because I was at that weight where if I was standing, I would look good. But I was awkwardly hunched on a pillow, and that wouldn't look good with my shirt off, so we gave him a little pajama top.
I think, too, when I, was watching it, I felt it was more realistic, because I feel sometimes in life when you're, in the moment, not everyone's going to be like, okay, let's fully undress now. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things just happen, and I had another question, too. In this love scene, were you guys in the Kiriakis mansion? I'd never seen that bedroom, but it looked kind of cool.
Yeah, they just built that off the side, so it's somewhere on whatever stage it was on, but it's just in the corner, and it's just that. So it's not attached to the Kiriakis mansion. The Kiriakis mansion is a whole different side of the thing.
Because I remember at one point they had your apartment, Sonny's apartment, as a set for a long time.
Yeah.
Huh.
But no, we've been living at the mansion, so that was our little set there, and but yeah, to wrap up the end of the lovemaking. To hit it on the head of the awkwardness is also when you're sitting and talking. And I feel Chandler and I really nailed that, and so did the director and all the camera crew and everybody. The way we happened to be sitting that day, because we have to stuff pillows behind you so that when you're sitting up, they always say you don't want to shoot up your nose. It's unflattering. So yet again, after lovemaking, you also have to kind of have your head down. You're sitting on pillows, because if you're like this, it's just not flattering.
No
For those of you who are
pressure.
watching, this isn't, I love you. It's not flattering. So that whole experience, I will say, takes away from, it takes a lot of work to really be in the moment, let go of all it's unnatural to be sitting a certain way that might look good on camera, but your body's this doesn't feel real. So you have to work extra to be okay, even though this isn't how I would sit in bed, this is what looks good. So now I have to be in the moment. And it was a sweet, sweet moment. I'm so happy that Will and Sonny got that sweet moment together. And with Chandler in general, and with Guy and Christopher. Is there anybody else? I think those are the three people I've had actual love scenes with. We were all super professional. We talk about, boundaries at the first time of just, because you also want to have freedom when you're acting.
Sure.
Does this actor feel comfortable with you touching their chest? Do you how do you kiss? You want to go through all that. So you kind of sit down and you just have that conversation. What do you feel comfortable with? So then you can get on that page. So this way you don't have any in the back of your mind, I want to touch their face, but what if he doesn't like that? So if you get all that out up front, then you can go in knowing I can be in the moment. I know what their limits are, what my limits are, and no one's going to overstep their boundaries and make someone uncomfortable. So you're able to kind of talk that out.
Of course.
So that's been my experience. I've had great experiences with lovemaking. And overall, you just have a bunch of people watching you. You're trying not to sweat. And but it turned out great. This was a good one. This was a really good one.
And I feel, too, throughout the years, a lot of comments that I've seen, so many people are rooting all the time for Wilson to be together. And, of course, in any show, in any soap, you're going to have your trials and tribulations. You're together, you're not. And so I felt watching this today that people were probably like, yes, we've been waiting for you guys to be happy and together and want to take that next step in life. And, have a baby or another, because you guys have Ari as well. So I just think that they probably were so happy, because I felt so happy watching it. I'm like, Wilson forever, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's opening up. Now that they've closed the door on Orpheus and Christian, Evan / now we're able to move into this next step for Wilson. Yep. So you can distinctly see, new storyline coming. So, when it comes to having a baby, I think I kind of mentioned this, but I don't know how they would do it. I mean, I do know if they were to do it, what they would do, but there's just so many options, and I think it's a really fun storyline to explore.
Of course.
I think it's something that's important to tell.
Yep.
And when you have a same-sex couple, it's well, which route do you go?
Of course.
And you have to explore it. And I think, each option is going to be best for whatever couple thinks is best for them, they're going to do.
Yeah.
So if we go that route, I believe Will and Sonny will explore those options.
Aww.
So it's going to be sweet. I think I'll wait on touching a little bit more and just see what next week brings, and then we can dive into it more. And then I just want to touch again on just what a wonderful experience it is working with Wally. Him and I have had one heck of a year working together, and just those sweet moments, and it was beautiful at the grave.
At your mom's grave, I mean, you could just feel the chemistry oozing out of both of you as father and son, and you could tell how much you mean to him, not only in the scene as, you know, playing his son, but also as a human, and it was just so sweet and so precious. I love seeing your scenes together, and he had a lot going on in his storyline too, proposing. So we will see what happens.
The cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Oh, the cliffhanger.
It's so good.
Stephen Nichols. Yeah. He's like,
I'm telling you, I'm getting into this. It's so good. Like, I get why you tune in every single day.
It's great. It's great.
I love it.
It's gonna be one heck of a summer. Do you have any questions from the audience?
I do have some questions, and guys, don't forget, text us if you have any questions at all about the storyline, what it was like working behind the scenes on days, because we do a little question corner. So, number one, do you have any funny stories about Chandler?
I mean, yeah. Well, this is kind of okay. So,
what a loaded question.
Yeah, I'm just like
so many great memories.
Well, because it's interesting that we have a lot of great memories together, and the thing that I always share with people, and I think the audience would like to believe that there's more time, like a traditional set of, you know, not being in the soap opera world. We literally have no time, especially these past couple years as things moved quicker. Other than me and Chandler having some like inside jokes and just the chemistry of like knowing each other well and like working together and making jokes, you don't have much time. So, well, one story I will share that's kind of really funny is that towards, you know, especially this last year, there's always been this ongoing joke that I'm the fastest one out of the studio. Because once my work's done, I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, I did my work. I'm not going to hang around. People are busy. I got to get out of there. I got stuff to do. So I would always be the first one out. Yeah. So every time he'd be about 30, 40 seconds behind me. And he'd be like, oh my gosh, you're so quick. And so then he started wearing his gym shorts that he would come to work in under his wardrobe. So he would have one less step, and he would beat me by 10 seconds, 15 seconds every single time. So he would just run downstairs, change real quick, and I'd come out of my room, and he'd already be heading up the stairs. So we would have a little race of who could actually get out first after our scenes. And it was just a really good time. We would go to Whole Foods together. We would grab some food. We would chit-chat just about life in general and just have a good time. But we just had the shorthand, which I think a lot of people have with others at work. No matter what you do for a living, there's just people you're just like, you know, just what goes on around set or just people or you know, we had really good conversations. And though we goofed around a lot, Chandler's a very, very smart, thoughtful person. Sure. So a lot of the conversations that we have about technology, about the future, we dabble in politics every now and then. And he's a very just thoughtful person. So as much as we goof around, we also have really in-depth, thoughtful combos. He's a very intelligent person.
You guys worked together for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Just all that time spending, getting to know one another, having thoughtful conversations. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, he's wonderful. And in these past few years is when we really got close. You know, there was a lot going on. We were all young actors. There's a bunch of young actors. We were just all over the place. And we were still telling this great love story. But there was a lot happening on set. There was a lot more freedom. And I feel like these past 3 years, just a lot has, we became Wilson.
Yeah.
And we also knew the responsibility that we had to continue to with or uphold. And so, but yeah, nothing too crazy. The only one other story I'll share, and I don't remember all the details of it, but I remember I wanted a new couch. So him and I went on some sort of like expedition of looking for a spare couch in the entire studio. So we just went looking around all these different rooms and like trying to like
Did you find one?
Steal a couch. Yeah, we stole a couch from like the back of the studio. I don't know where it was from, but we like carried it through and like got me a new couch.
Is that the one that's still in there today?
No, because that was my old dressing room. But then I don't know if we ended up putting it back. It was a while ago, so I don't remember. And then one last story. I remember I walked into Chandler's room one day, and there was a queen-size bed in his room. He had bought a queen-size bed from like IKEA or something, had it together and was just chilling in his bedroom, took up the entire room. And whoever told him he had to take it down because I guess with like regulation wise, you need like a couch or because other people used our rooms But Chandler's like, I'm just going to get a bed.
He's like, I want to nap and hang out.
So he put this whole bed together out.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Was it just a mattress?
No.
He had the actual
The whole
frame.
bed.
He had to get rid of it.
Yeah. So the next day it was gone. So I don't remember what happened, but
poor Chandler.
But there's just many little stories like that are just like crazy and fun. So, but that was a good question. Thank you.
Love
Whoever
it.
asked that.
Okay, next question, Rooney. What was one of your favorite actors to work with that you didn't usually get to work with?
I would say Paul Telfer, because because the scenes were always really interesting.
Did he play your cousin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he was either messing with me or it was more of it was just fun. I got to be different. Greg Rickert for a while, even though we worked together a lot, was awesome. Martzoff is great. Galen is actually hard to work with because he's so funny that there's just certain times I have to go, okay, this isn't Galen, this is Rafe. Like, because he's just
your laughter in.
Yeah, Galen, Datillo, Martzoff, like those three guys are so funny that you have people that you just like, they don't have to say anything. You just look at them and you laugh. So I always have to, and me and Martzoff never have fun scenes. It's always like aggressive. Same thing with Galen. It's usually like exposition or like I'm coming to the cops. So it's never, with Chandler or somebody that you're laughing with or even Wally, there's times when you're like, oh, this person's making me laugh, but it works for the scene.
Sure.
But if I'm like, oh my God, someone got murdered, like, what do, Rafe? You have to come help. That's not right. Same thing with Greg Rickert. Like every time it was
funny.
so difficult. Every time they yelled cut, I bursted out laughing. I could not hold it. And I would look many times to like the left of his eyes or his nose because the audience couldn't tell, but I could not let the souls connect or I would lose my stuff.
It.
And funny enough, I read a comment on YouTube. Someone asked about that April Fool's episode.
Oh, yeah.
And just amazing. Just when I thought, I was like, I'm not going to have to hold back my
back and you open the door and he's like, April Fool's.
So hard.
Oh my God.
I had to open the door and he says that and I just go, just don't laugh, Freddie. You have to be so surprised. And you have to really get yourself psyched up. You have to think about like, what always gets me is I know they want to move fast. And as much as it's funny, all these people are under pressure to get all these scenes done for the day. So I think of that. I go, this isn't about me, Freddie. I was like, it's not time to have fun, even though it is funny.
Right.
This isn't like you gotta, like, everyone's like waiting. People want their break.
Also too, Days is multicam. So when you guys are shooting, you're getting everyone's reaction at once. So you don't have to just do him, and you could be laughing in the back because it's multicam. So they're getting both of you at the same time.
Yes.
So it's very, very important to keep your cool. And there's nothing worse than when you get the giggles when you're shooting something and you try and get rid of it, but it's just there.
Yeah.
That's oh my gosh. Well, that's fun though. It's a fun story.
Yeah, it's a very, I've just had such a great experience. Every part of it's been good. Everybody is so great.
Love that. Okay, we have time for one more question. Do you have any memorable scenes that you loved shooting? So any scenes in your mind that quickly come that you go, oh, I love shooting that?
The one that came to mind just because I saw someone tweet it and I retweeted it not too long ago was when I delivered Ari in some cabin or shed or some abandoned warehouse or something.
Wow.
And it was so fun. I remember we were just like, me and Camila were like, and it just brings me back to when Sydney and Harper, Udell, were 6 months old. And that was the first time that we got to like meet them and the family. And so to think back that was really fun. I mean, just all of it. Yeah. Like we you know what I mean? There's a lot of times that Sonny and Will have sort of the C storyline. Mm-hmm. And, those are kind of just, they are what they are. We're there to support what's happening. But for the most part, anytime we get a storyline, it's interesting.
Remember you guys, I want to say you went to an island and there was something you guys were poisoned with.
Yeah, Christopher Sean got like bit by something. Yes. Or what caused him to go crazy?
I don't know, but I just remember you coming home those days and you're like, these scenes are so fun. There's just a lot going on because everyone was drugged, essentially, I think.
Yeah, something happened. I forget what it was. Oh, and shout out to Billy Flynn, by the way.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Billy! I remember he was in the plane crash and he was on the island. Oh God, I love Billy. He's so funny. Yeah, he was there, and Christopher, and there's a bunch of us. I think Lamone was there. I don't know. I forget. We shoot so many scenes. I don't remember. But yeah, anytime you can go to set and there's something like you're crashing on an island or you're doing something different than sitting or just walking back and forth in the Kiriakis mansion, there's times you get a reprieve where you're like, oh, I get to do something different.
Sure.
And so it's exciting because most of the time it's just sitting and talking. So when you get to do something out of the ordinary, you're like, ooh, I get to fight today, or I get to like throw some up against the wall, or, you know, do whatever. So, but those are great. And so, so thank you all for coming to our second recap here. We're going to keep this going all the way through September. And so, continue to ask the questions. We'll keep taking questions from you. It really helps us be able to navigate the conversation and make sure that we're answering all your questions. You can get a real idea of what it's like on set or behind the scenes of these episodes. So we appreciate you so much.
And also, guys, you can leave your questions below if you're on YouTube, or you can text us at...
Yeah, if you're in the U.S. or Canada, you can text us at 424-228-9508, or you can comment below. And yeah, it'd be nice to memorize it. This way you know.
I always point at you. That's why you're here.
I know. I'm here to hold phone numbers. I'm your walking phone book here. So thank you all so much. We'll have another episode coming out. Brandon Barash is coming out Sunday.
Yes.
And then we have another Freddie Alyssa Show coming out on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then, of course, we'll be back here on Friday for the recap of another Sonny and Will recap. So appreciate you all. Enjoy your weekend, and we will talk soon.